Hey, heathens. A little while back I did a video where I discussed the problem with religion. I told a story that was sent to me about a young person and parents that were freaking out over his particular choices in the realm of religion. Shortly thereafter, after I thought we had some communication about that, and then another one came up, and so I told it as well, showing how this is somewhat of a pattern from time to time. Some people are like, oh yeah, absolutely, I see that totally. And then there's other people who are like, no, you can't blame the religion on one person's intolerance. And I can understand that, except that it is the religion that created the intolerance. And well, we're going to reopen this can once again, and I'm going to present it in a different way. And this is coming from an episode that I watched the other day. The show is called 30 Days. And basically what happens is they take someone and they put them in another situation that is completely against their normal nature for 30 days. Kind of like wife swap, just without the whole mommy thing. Except for this one. And because what they did was they took this woman who was very religious, who believed that gay people should not be allowed to marry, should not be allowed to have children, adopt, all that sort of thing, and put them with a gay couple who was raising, I think, 2 children. I can't exactly remember, but it doesn't matter. This woman meets these 2 men who love their children, sees how good they are with these children, and then struggles as her religious beliefs continuously collide with what she's seeing in front of her face. Now she starts off, with just talking about how it's it'd be better if these kids were with heterosexual families, and they're like, okay, well that's fine. How many heterosexual families do you have available? Isn't there a shortage of parents who are trying to adopt? And it's true, there aren't enough parents to go around, and sadly enough, there's a lot of other parents who would like to adopt, and there's little things standing in their way, and so these kids get kind of shuffled off from foster home to foster home, and sometimes that's not such a good thing. Anyway, she fights it, and she fights it, and she's feeling pretty good about herself, and the idea that they're still better off not being with the gay couple, even though she knows, and you could tell that she knows that she's aware that she's full of shit. But later she meets up with 2 people who never got adopted. And these 2 people, now adults, tell her and take her on a tour. This is where I live. This is where I lived. This was the situation here. This was the situation there. I would have loved it if someone would have adopted me. And I would not have cared if they were gay or not. Surely that would be better than what I had. This woman breaks down into tears. She's very distraught on this thing because she can feel the emotion that, this is the right thing. Allow these people to adopt, to get these kids, into a loving home. And she sees the home is loving. But it's her religion that stops her. It's her religion. It is her beliefs. No, but this is what my religion teaches me. So again, I tell you, it is the problem with religion. The religion creates boundaries that person then cannot break, even when logic shows them that they're wrong. It's amazing to me that with things in the Bible like, slavery is okay and women should be subjective to men, that our society even progressed past those things as much of a dominant role as religion has on us. But we rewrite our religion sometimes. And I'm hoping that happens sooner versus later, and these people come around. But I'm sure they'll just find some other passage in the Bible to support their beliefs at that point in time. Say, oh, no, the religion ones always said it was okay for gay people to have kids around. Whatever, I don't know. But again, the idea is that the religion, when someone has a religion and it is set that this is what is right and no one can argue with it, no matter how much it gets proven wrong, they block off everything else, and it creates this resistance to progress. And whether it's scientific progress or, in this case, social progress, we just can't seem to get past it, all in the name of religion. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up this video with a few quick stories of religion in the news. Let's start with, and many of you sent me this link, and yeah, I was just as appalled. Teacher burning crosses into his children's arms, and they actually had to think about whether or not to fire him. Are you serious? It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he was, burning crosses onto their arms. He was burning his freaking students, and they had to think about whether or not to fire him. Glad to say that they actually did. Another link that I'll also post, yet another child dying unnecessary because of the parents' religious beliefs and not getting him treatment when he could have been saved. And the last one is one about a girl who was held against her will and had an exorcism done to her. She ended up suffering some minor bruises, but mostly it was just the trauma of being forced to have to deal with these nut jobs. Initially, she was granted her lawsuit. Later, they appealed and got the amount reduced. But recently, they had the ruling overturned, citing religious freedom, saying that it was part of these people's religious beliefs, and therefore, we can't make a judgment on that. The girl did not share their belief and feels like she was attacked. Their religious right ends when they trample on someone else's right. And there's a quote that I liked. It comes from one of the justices who sided with the girl and not the religious nuts. Chief Justice Wallace Jefferson, who said, "The First Amendment guards religious liberty. It does not sanction intentional abuse in religion's name." Well, I like the idea that he understands that there is a separation of you being able to have the freedom to practice your religion versus your religion doing something unlawful to someone else. However, I will take an exception to the idea that somewhat religion in nature is abusive. But hey, don't take my word for it. Think for yourself.